This is the Informal Video Blog. This fifth video of this vlog series concerns additions to the code to pass the validation testers when I uploaded the code to MQL5.com's CodeBase. These code additions are important in any EA, so I don't want to give the impression that I'm doing the bare minimum just to pass the tests. There are many facets to any EA that I haven't covered in this series because instruction should, I think, start with the simplest concepts first. One point I will make is that if you download the file from the MQL5.com codebase instead of from my website, it will look different from the one you see in the video. It has been run through the meta editor styler. To me, this is just ugly. I prefer to use tabs for indentation with a tab stop of 4 spaces. I understand and appreciate that MetaQuotes wants consistency in their codebase, so I am happy to go along with their request and provide for you on my website this version of the code. Anyway, I call this part Passing the MQL5 Validation Tests. In this vlog, we will remove the netting hedging mode check, check the stops level, normalize the lot size, and check the amount of free margin available. Now let's take a look at the additions to the code. To show the additions to the code from version 4 to version 5, I will do a quick walkthrough summary using WinMerge. After this summary, I will go through the added code in more detail in Meta Editor. Remember that in WinMerge, changed code is highlighted yellow on both sides, and additions, or new code, is gray on the left side and yellow on the right side. Toward the top, we note the addition of the account info MQL5 standard library, which we will use to determine the amount of free margin. At the top of the onInit event, I remove the code to determine if our brokerage account is netting or hedging, since, for this EA, it doesn't matter. The biggest addition to the code was the addition of the check stops level function. This ensures that the distance between the stop loss and price in question meets the brokerage minimum requirement. This next minor addition is a check to not place a trade if the new stop loss and existing stop loss are the same size. This removes a few error messages in the log file. The fix lot size function ensures that the minimum, maximum, and granularity of the broker requirements for the lot size occur. In the order stop function, you will note that volume is no longer constant. Volume is passed through fixed lot size to ensure compliance with broker settings. The available free margin is checked. And finally, we ensure the distance from the trigger price to the stop loss meets the broker requirements. Finally, in the position modify function, I check the stop loss levels again. I'm back in Meta Editor, and we're looking at the code for Rapid Doji EA05. I've already mentioned the addition of the account info standard library. I've also mentioned the removal of the check for netting versus hedging. So let's jump right to the check stops level function. This whole function revolves around the symbol trade stops level setting on the brokerage server. The documentation describes this setting as minimal indentation in points from the current close price to place stop orders. This means two things to us. First, for our pending orders, it's the minimum distance between the target price and the stop loss. And two, for our modify orders, for the trailing stop loss, it is the minimum distance between the price, which is either ask or bid, and the stop loss. We first have a bunch of shorthand constants to make the code easier to read. Then I define a variable called distance points, which I immediately set to a ridiculous value to trap for errors in my own coding. Let's take a look at order type by stop first. First, I check to see if the trigger price is less than the ask. If it is, I give a warning message and exit. This is a lunacy test, and it helps check for coding errors prior to calling this function. The next code block calculates the distance between the trigger price and the stop loss. If it isn't as big as the server demands, we get out. The code for order type sell stop does exactly the same check with a stop loss on the other side of the trigger price. Let's take a look at the check for order type buy. This will be true when issuing the modify order function on an existing position. In this case, we check the distance between the current price, in this case the bid, and the stop loss. It's as simple as that. Now let's take a look at the additions to the function fixed trailing stop. As I scroll toward the bottom, I find where I have added another code block. This is a simple test to ensure that the new stop loss and the existing stop loss are not essentially identical. If the math abs of the difference is less than an epsilon, we return. This will save a few error messages in your log file. Now let's take a look at fix lot size. Basically, this function normalizes the lot size to a granularity acceptable to the server. For example, the server may have a symbol volume step of 0.01, and in our calculations we might land on something like 0.007, which the server won't accept. So we normalize it. Then we pass the normalized value through the checks to ensure compliance of the minimum and maximum lot sizes. In either case, if this extreme is breached, we set the lot size to that level. Now let's jump down to the order stop function. We do a few new things here. 1. We normalize the lot size and limit to the min or max allowable values per the server settings. 2. We check the free margin using the C account info standard library to ensure that we have enough money to place the trade. Note the ternary operator used to convert the order type to one that the free margin check function accepts. And 3. We call the check stops level function to ensure the distance between the trigger price and the stop loss is acceptable. Finally, we'll scroll down just a little more to the position modify, where we once again call the check stops level function to ensure the distance between the current price and the stop loss is acceptable. This concludes this vlog for Rapid Doji EA05. Be sure to subscribe to my channel to see additional videos. Additional trading software is available at my website.